We're taking you around the world of live sports video production technology in our SVG SportsTech On Demand series. Today, we have the opportunity to catch up with one of the more innovative companies in the industry right now. They're TVU Networks. We're joined by Jared Timmins. He's their SVP of Solutions. Jared, wonderful to see you. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Great to see you, Brandon.
But I mean, a lot of companies over the past 12 to 13 months have stepped up in a big way to help sports broadcasters both stay on the air and do innovative things in one of the more challenging periods in the history of this industry. And none may be more so than you guys at TVU Networks, as connectivity and opening up the possibilities to do new things and maybe more of a decentralized production world due to social distancing. You guys have come up huge in a lot of ways. What were some of the biggest opportunities that you guys saw as chances to step in and help broadcasters at a time where maybe they couldn't use their home facilities the way that they used to, or people literally were relegated to their homes? How were clients turning to you to solve some of those solutions?
Certainly. I think the crazy thing was, I mean, it almost seemed like a light switch, right? Everyone was in the facility and then everyone was at home. Right. And I think job number one was we had to get packs out. We had to turn up a bunch of user-generated content via apps to just get people content on air, right? So that they could continue to move forward. But it quickly became, I would say, even, weeks to maybe a month after everyone got stabilized with just utilizing what was available, it really became apparent that tools like even commodity conferencing things just weren't going to get the job done. They had so many limitations. Everyone, I think, was a Herculean effort to just get on air. But what we started hearing from customers was, hey, we need broadcast quality. We need flexibility. We need to be able to do things at scale that we just can't do with systems that were really created for meetings. And so one of the big things for us coming out of COVID was Partyline, which really came to fruition from, I think it was beginning of March, a lot of customer demand saying, hey, we really needed a way to get news, sports, things like that on air, to being able to deliver that in April and have utilization. And then, for us, we've prior to COVID, and I think we're a little bit serendipitous in this, but prior to COVID, we had already really transformed the way we go about doing development. So we're big into DevOps, big into microservices, big into cloud architectures. And for us, being able to have that in place and then have all this customer demand that came at us and be able to respond. So the pace of change, not just in what we're doing with the cloud, but even the way you can use these tools to innovate, we can do in development in a matter of days or weeks what it used to took us years to do, what used to be delivered twice a year at different trade shows for broadcast. So the whole cadence of things have changed, and the whole relationship that we now have with all of our customers, it's, hey, I'm trying to experiment, because just as I think we're trying to figure out all the cloud as a vendor community, so are the customers. And then you're hit with this unprecedented event with COVID, and it's like, how do I make money when no one's in seats? How do I find a way to monetize things? How can I keep my fans interested so they don't go away? And so having all of those challenges and being able to respond quickly, I think really set us up to do some very interesting and cool things.
Yeah, that convergence had to have been fascinating for you guys, because you've been working with clients for a long time, utilizing technologies like these, who are maybe out in front on things. And then you've got the people coming in who are doing it, who maybe were hesitant to do so, and now we're thrust into it and actually got to see it and be like, oh, it actually works really great. And people and viewers even got used to watching some shows like that with remote commentators coming in. You kind of teed up for the next one. We're talking about how these technologies that you guys offer can also impact the fan experience. We get how it helps on the decentralized production side, but how are you seeing clients, some on the team side, some in the leagues, who are utilizing these technologies to kind of make up for some of that lost revenue you're talking about?
Well, I think a couple of interesting things. Well, the first thing was that we all had to do this stuff from home because it was a requirement. But then things like our remote commentator product just started to take off, even when people could start returning back to the venue, because, well, now I can have my best talent do 3 or 4 games where they could have done 1, right? And I'm saving on travel. And at the time where I need to be able to maybe even do different environments or offer different personalized services, I can do those at a cost base that is a tenth, maybe less, of what we used to for to create these kinds of productions. But I think one of the strangest things for us, and it's been really interesting, is how it was a requirement. We had to have the main event. We're going to serve that up, and we're going to serve that up in different ways. Saw different leagues do it. But the thing that was the challenge was it was very inorganic, right? People were at different times. People would stand up and clap. You wouldn't hear audio. And so I think the advancement that we were able to do is bring a lot of that broadcast tech, that latency, high quality, to start to do some of these things as organically as possible, as if you were there. Mm-hmm. And the technology has really kind of grown now where even in places where fans are back in, they're vaccinated, they're back in watching games in person. The teams have gotten so proficient at building these digital content journeys with fans, and they've gotten so good that fans are actually able to now have access to places that they never would have had access in the game. I can get to the game early. I can get myself some food. I can open up my iPad or my iPhone, and I can, be a part of celebrating the team, walking out of the locker room with high fives and having players, converse with different fans. You can create these really meaningful experiences like having stars and athletes surprise people that are in Afghanistan, for instance, right? Because their team's starting to play. And so, it's these personal stories that you can tell, these points of access where you're now able to be a participant and in things like practice before the game or certain special events that you would have never got access to. So what we thought was just going to be a replacement for the main event has become this augmented environment that not only puts people in seats, but allows you to give these tiers of monetization of VIP experience across different sporting engagements.
Yeah, I'm curious to how you see that potentially impacting things over the next 6 to 12 months and maybe even beyond, because like you said, there's a lot that was done there because we had to, and there was no other option, and fans couldn't be in the building or the talent couldn't be in the building. But then you did things and it was like, oh, well, this is actually driving a really in-depth, unique, intimate relationship with someone who we used to do it this way with them. And now that fans are going back to the stands, and God willing, by the end of the year, will mostly look normal at professional sporting events, collegiate sporting events. But it sounds like that there's a lot of things that you guys are working on that you foresee sticking. So how do you see the next 6 to 12 months playing out on the sports side?
First off, I think we're in the middle of a user-generated content revolution, right? Mm-hmm. These devices right here, right, that we have are, this phone does 4K 60 at Dolby Vision on the output now, right? And the ones that are going to come out in a year from now will be even better. And with 5G enabling us to have all kinds of connectivity between fans are not just consuming the content; they're adding to the value of that content now. And so we've often thought at TVU that in the next, 3 to 5 years, we're going to start to treat a lot of these events like their game engines, where we have the ability to associate a bunch of user-generated content in time that's accurately aligned together and create personalized experiences. And those experiences, I think, can be tiered so that you have a free experience, but then you have all these different points of access based on data of that consumer of that sport and that fan, and allowing them to have different things, but then also expanding that into the in-venue experience and kind of hybridizing those together. There's no reason I can't sit on a party line in a sponsored VIP environment with my buddy who's sitting in a different place in the venue and people who are sitting at home, and now we're all enjoying this mixed experience together. And so I think what the cloud's going to enable us to do is it's going to decentralize all the tech in a way where we can start to personalize things and maximize the value, especially when advertising is down and sponsorship is down. If I know that I have a targeted customer who's into this thing and I can get the most maximum value out of my sponsorship, this is the thing that data and this access directly to people are going to provide to us.
Yeah, really fascinating. Before we let you go, real quickly, what's on the horizon for you guys? You guys involved in any exciting projects that you could speak of?
Yeah, I think that there's some pretty huge drafts that we've got coming up that we're really excited about, that we really think are pushing the envelope of how technology is utilized and how we're bringing people together in these hybrid environments, and a lot more coming on how we create these in-depth experiences with fans and how fans can contribute back to the broadcast in a way that give us angles and context and capabilities I don't think we were expecting 12 months ago.
Yeah, well, we're really excited to see that play out. Jared, you guys at TVU Networks touch every side of the sports video production community, all different angles, teams, leagues, networks, whatever it may be. So from us at SVG, we really appreciate all the work that you guys have been doing to help empower content creators in this day, live, on demand, whatever it may be. Thanks so much for your hard work. And thanks a lot for joining us here today to talk it all about.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
All right. He is Jared Timmins. He is SVP of Solutions for TVU Networks. Learn more about what they're up to and check out more of the SVG SportsTech On Demand series now right at sportsvideo.org.